Good evening, teacher.
Hello, Camila. Good evening. How are you? Mauricio, good evening. Hello, Ryder. Can you hear me, guys?
Hello, teacher. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So it's 6:42. We wait one more minute and then we start, please. Okay, guys. I believe it's already time so that we can start. Okay. And today, according to our agenda from our syllabus, we're going to discuss a couple of topics. And actually, we're going to review quite some information. We have some exercises as well. But let's start from the beginning. Now, we have done a couple of essays. Uh, and so far, we have discussed some academic readings and writings, mainly focused in punctuation, as we have discussed previously. Now, here I have listed a couple of websites so that we can find essays related to topics in general, education, a particular sport, a particular country, topics in general. These are websites where you can find free essays. And what I mean by free, they're not articles or essays which are ambiguous. They're actually pieces of work from people that they have decided to share for free. And these are just a few websites that I have listed. You can find a lot of information here. In case that you need to write some additional literature works or exercises in the future, you can have them here. The first one, wow essays, 1, 2, 3, help me, topics online, papers out, student share, and Scribd. Now, as you can see, we have .com, also .com and .org. Remember that I mentioned that whenever we have a website with org, org means a government is sponsoring this website, okay? Some of them might not be necessarily free, like Scribd. This website, usually you have to pay for some of the information. Not all of it, or they'll give you just a piece of work so you can read for free. But you can also find a lot of good info in case that you need to do some research. Now, where can you find scientific articles or essays? You can, well, actually, there's a lot of websites on the web. Sciencenews.org, this is a government-based website. Scientific American, Science Daily, science.org, online library.wiley, livescience.com, FICE.org, science news for students.org, and these are just a few. And well, I guess you might know a couple of websites as well where to find some resources and some information. Okay, and I will share these presentation later on whenever we complete our class, so you can have them for future reference. Now, let's get into it. What is academic writing? Let's see, I need for you to participate as well. Camila, can you help me with the reading for explanation of academic writing? Oh, she's not here. Okay. Let me see. Writer, can you help me with the reading?
Okay, teacher. Academic writing is the formal writing style used in colleges and universities. It's what students are expected to produce for classes and what professors and academic researchers use to write scholarly materials. High schools sometimes require academic writing style in certain classes.
Okay. So academic writing, in your own words, what can you understand from academic writing, writer? It's a formal writing style, correct? You don't use the same speaking vocabulary with your family, with friends, in your social environment than using a different vocabulary when you are in school or at work. That's called academic writing or speech or lecture or listening. Whenever we are referring to something formal, we're talking about academic. So writing for higher education. A simple academic writing definition is hard to come by because there are many types of forms of academic writing produced for a variety of reasons. Now, different types of academic writing include, of course, let me just zoom in a little bit. Abstract, annotated bibliography, academic journal articles, book reports, conference papers, dissertations, for example, when you're doing your master's degree, or perhaps if you are doing your doctor's degree, an essay, explication, of course, not just any kind of explication. It has to be a formal writing in case that, for example, you need to submit, I forgot the name for it, a paper that you submit to the jury whenever you are appealing for an action. A literary criticism, research paper, research proposal, textbook, and a thesis. Okay. And these are just a few, just to name. We have many more ways of where we're going to refer to academic writing, okay? Now, some key characteristics of academic writing. Before we continue, let me see, Mauricio, can you help me with the reading?
Sure, teacher. Key characteristics of academic writing. While specific requirements may vary based on the particular form of academic writing or the class or publication for which a work is produced, some characteristics are common to all academic writing. Formal tone. A formal tone is always in academic writing. It is not like theory or conversational in tone. Slang and cliches do not belong in this type of writing. Precise language.
Okay, just a second, Mauricio, thank you so much. Now, lighthearted or conversational in tone, okay? That means that you're not just going to write a few words and that's it. No, you need to be precise in writing. Maybe have a lot of, a lot of detail. Give a lot of explanations. Conversational tone. That's where the active and passive comes around, and we're going to discuss that in a little bit. Slang. Anybody knows what slang is? Anybody familiar with the slang? What is slang? Anybody? No? Slang are words that they are maybe a synonym or maybe just an exaggeration. They mean something different, but we use it for a specific meaning in particular, okay? For example, nicknames, for example, optional names. For example, let me write it down here. In some movies, for example, people say crib, okay? And we know for sure that a crib is una cuna, right? For kids. But people do that in slang to say house, okay? I'm gonna go to my crib. That means house, okay? Or for example, in Spanish here in Mexico, we say ir al jale. That means go to work. Alternate names. It could be in Spanish, it could be in English. It doesn't matter. But this is what slang means, okay? Any questions about slangs? No? Now, cliches. Cliches. That means that is something very used, common. You're familiar with it, just repeating. That's a cliche. A cliches. Okay? Just making sure that we understand what we're talking about here, guys, okay? Slang cliches. Continue, Mauricio, please.
Precise language. In keeping with the formal tone, it is important to choose precise language that very clearly conveys the author's meaning. Do I continue?
Please, yes.
Okay. Point of view, POV. Academic writing is usually writing in third person point of view because its focus is
Focus.
to
Focus. It's focus.
its focus is to educate on the facts rather than to support an opinion or give advice.
Okay, so your opinion, right? Point of view. And research focus. Continue, Mauricio.
Okay, research focus because most academic writing involves reporting research results. It tends to focus on the specific research questions being studied. Mm, Organization. Academic writing should be organized logically in a linear matter or fact fashion. Use, sorry, teacher, your mouse.
Headings.
Thank you. Use headings to delineate each major section. And source citations. More academic writings includes at least some secondary research sources. Be sure to properly cite all sources and include a bibliography.
Okay. So yes, some of the characteristics: formal tone, precise language. Point of view, research focus. Since we're talking about academic, that means that we need to get information from sources. Organization. Okay. Yes, you just don't write your ideas all around the place. We have discussed some of the many different ways we can write essays. But you always start with an introduction, you have your body, and a conclusion. That's what we call organization, okay? And don't forget your outline. Source citations, yes. Make sure you list where you got your info, your sources, right? If not, we're gonna look like we stole information. And of course, individual assignments may sometimes have different requirements. Always review submission guidelines carefully to verify you're following the proper format and style. Yes, and this is important, guys. And I'll tell you why. Because sometimes we are given an assignment and we say, okay, write an argumentative essay. Okay, I'm not writing. I know what it is. I know how to do it, so on and so on. But perhaps there are some specific details on what the instructor requires. So always make sure you ask for instructions. You should have them, but just in case you have any questions, ask. If you don't have any questions and you know what you're doing, okay, no problem. But always make sure you understand everything fully. Now, some of the do's and don't do's for formal academic writing, just not to get confused. And let's continue with the reading. Who else has joined? Let me see. Joe, can you help me with the intro for formal academic writing?
Okay, teacher. Formal academic writing. In your assignment for class, you should not address the academic community in the same way you would talk to your friends for the simple reason that your academic writing needs to be both objective and persuasive. Writing that is too casual in typical, not as convincing as more formal writing. Here are some general um, guidelines
Guidelines.
for
Guidelines.
guideline for learning to write formally, which can improve grades and prepare for you for the professional world.
Okay, so yes, convincing, Joe, convincing. Okay, convincing. And we have some do's. The first one, use precise language and effective words. Correct word usage. To achieve proper diction, you need to use a word that both has the exact denotation. Okay, has the exact denotation. Dictionary definition, that's what it means. And connotation, the accepted meaning of a word. So that's two different things, okay? So we are talking about denotation and connotation that you are intended to express. Always use a dictionary along with a thesaurus, okay? And we have here a citation, just so that we know where we got this information. Example, firm, we know it's a steady, is positive, stubborn, unreasonable is a negative, okay? That's what it is. Use precise language, effective language. Okay? Precise words, another common mistake students make is using vague or informal words. Now, this is what I mean. Faulty, that means that it's no good, it's got problems, faulty. Okay? It is really awesome just how creepy the characters in a Rose for Emily are. So the problem with this sentence, what's the problem, guys? What's the problem here? Why is it faulty? Why is it faulty, guys? We joined Adriana and Camila. Okay, why is this sentence faulty, guys? Are we using precise language and effective words? No. We're being very subjective, right? So for a revised work, through his use of tone and symbolism, Faulkner creates mysterious and complex characters in A Rose for Emily. Okay, so we are using some references. We are actually using dictionary words. We're using denotations and connotations. Yes, we're being precise and effective. In the first one, well, I guess really awesome is not something for describe as academic writing, right? It doesn't qualify. Any questions about the first example for do? Okay, no questions? Okay, let's go to another do's. Camila, can you help me with the next example?
Sure. Present others' arguments fairly with an appropriate tone. When presenting a position or an argument with which you disagree, be sure to describe this argument accurately and without biased language. According to everything's an argument,
biased language.
Okay, biased language. According to everything's argument, most academic argument adopts the voice of a reasonable, fair-minded, and careful thinker who is interested in coming close to the truth about a topic that is possible. Your tone should also be one that is authoritative. You should confidently state the strengths of your arguments using language that is neutral, not combative.
Okay, not combative. So not contradicting is another way of saying it. So present others' arguments fairly and with appropriate tone. Yeah, and one of the first ways to do it is to do a citation and also use quotations. That's just right off the bat, okay? But also, you need to give it the appropriate tone when you are making arguments about other people's work. Let's go to the next example. Audrey.
Use active instead of passive voice. You should avoid using passive voice because drawing sound makes it unclear which person or thing is performing the action. If you are unsure about this, you should conduct further research to find out more about your topic. Passive voice, the law was passed in October. Who passed the law? Active voice, the city council passed the property tax law in October.
Okay, so what's the difference between each one? What can we see right away? What can we see as a difference between passive and active? Anybody?
One is more formal than the other one.
Not necessarily formal.
And also in the active voice, you see that the city council is the one that passed the law. And the passive
Yes,
voice, they said the law was passed.
exactly. Not only do you use an appropriate tone, but also you're giving a specific detail. Okay, so that's the active. Good. Let's continue. And like I said, we're going to get into specifics in the difference between passive and active, okay? Let's go to the next explanation. Joe, can you help me with this reading?
Say it. Do not say that you will say it. Do not tell the audience what you are going to do or say in the paper. Just say it. Fault. It is paper. I will analyze the argument against harm control. Mm, re, reverse. Okay. Okay. Receive arguments against Hangun. Okay.
Handgun?
Control. Could you repeat, teacher?
Handgun.
Hang on.
Yes.
Okay. Hang on control are unconvincing because.
Okay. So in few words, it's faulty because you're using I, first person, right? So you do not, in academic writing, you do not use first person. That's what it's telling us. Nothing more. Okay. Concise language. Writer?
Use concise language. Wordness is often saying that your talks need greater refinement. Furthermore, wordiness can convey a pretentious tone or be confusing to the reader. Instead, write in a clear and direct style. Wordy, the reason why most people want to travel is that they want to experience other cultures. Concise, most people want to travel to experience other cultures.
Yes. And sometimes we say just be direct. For example, wordy, that means it has too many words. The reason why that they want, most people want to travel to experience all the cultures, and we eliminated a lot of words. Not a lot, but just quite some. So that's what it is. Use concise language, okay? Any questions about the do's, guys, before we continue? In academic writing, any questions about the do's? Questions about the do's?
No, teacher.
No? Okay. Okay. So for academic writing, do not use contractions. Examples, there, they are, can't, cannot, it's, it is, or it has. And teacher, we have talked about contractions in the past. Yes. In academic writing, we try to avoid them. Okay. Remember, we are doing formal writing. Let's go to the next explanation. Audrey?
First or second person pronouns, I, me, mine, we, us, our, you, your. First or second person pronouns shouldn't be used in your paper unless your instructor specifically says otherwise. Using third person pronouns he, she, it, him, her, it, his, her, it, they, them, their, or nouns puts distance between yourself and the audience, creating a more formal tone for the paper. Faulty, I believe that capital punishment is wrong because capital punishment is wrong because the audience will assume this is what you believe. For it to go on vacation, you have to say hundreds of dollars for airfare, food, and hotels. Advice to go on vacation, travelers have to save hundreds of dollars for airfare, for food, and hotels.
Okay. So yes, remember guys, for academic writing, first or second person pronouns should not be used in your paper. Okay. Using third person pronouns puts distance between yourself and the audience, creating a more formal tone of the paper. Okay. Next, X. Mauricio? Can you hear me, Mauricio?
Yes, teacher, sorry. Language that is racially offensive or sexually skewed.
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 Sexually skewed.
Okay, skewed. Use names for racial, ethnic, or other groups that reflect the preference of each group's members. Avoid labels that intentionally or not disparage the person or group to whom you refer. Avoid the exclusionary he by using he or she. To keep this from becoming cumbersome, or use a plural noun with a third person plural pronoun whenever possible, and update your sentence to be consistent.
Yes. So in few words, before I say anything, what is skewed? Anybody knows? Anybody knows what's cute?
No, teacher.
Okay, when you know the truth, but you're doing something, you're saying something different to deviate the information. In Mexico, we say something chueco. That's what it is, skewed. You're giving another option, and most of the times it's not ethical. Okay, so just in conclusion, in regards to this point, these do not. We need to be careful when we write our essay or we are doing our academic writing, because we might write things that could be offensive to other people. Okay, so we need to be careful not to be insulting any cultures or ethnicities in particular. Okay, another do not, Camila.
Do not use slang, jargon, cliches, and conversational language. These are often too imprecise and imprecise and informal for communicating effectively to the audience. Instead, write exactly what you mean. Stuff and things are common examples of vague language that should be revised. Slang conversational language. The story talks about a whole bunch of stuffs that change many things in the main character's life. Which history, what stuff, what things change in the character's life? Revised. Ray Kerber's Cathedral describes the transformation that occurs in the protagonist's life when he encounters a disabled man who shows him how to persevere other people in the new and empowering ways.
Perceive other people in new and empowering ways.
Cliché. Rebuilding New Orleans is easier said than done. Revised. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, rebuilding the city requires foresight, grit, and hard work and billions of dollars.
Okay, thank you, Camila. So yes, we are using here examples of phrases, cultural phrases, and we don't use that in academic writing. For example, the story, a whole bunch of stuff, changes many things, main characters, and these are just a few. Another one here, this is a slang and conversational language and cliches. Easier said than done. Yes, we have heard this phrase many times. It's actually a good phrase, but come on, you're not giving details. Okay? No one, or at least if you write an academic paper, they're not asking for your opinion in particular. And if you give your opinion, you don't do it in such way that you just use a cliche, a word that everybody says. No, you show evidence. What is it gonna take? It's gonna take money, it's gonna take effort, manpower, vision. Okay. And also, well, why? Because of Hurricane Katrina. Speaking of the second example. Okay, next one. Rodrigo, are you here? No, Rodrigo is not here. Okay, Joan. Pretentious language and euphemisms.
Avoid using words just because they sound clever, unless they mean specifically what you want to say. Words that are showy or evasive should be replaced with clearer, okay, more direct language. Pretentious to per okay to perpetuate or in in
Or endeavor.
okay endeavor or providing fund for our uh, elderly
Elderly. Elderly.
elderly citizens as we to do at the present moment. We will face the mm, exigency and enhanced contribution from all our citizens.
Okay.
uh, Revise criticism. Citizens cannot continue to fund social security for the elderly unless we raise taxes.
Taxes. Okay. And
Taxes.
I love this example. I love this example because we are being pretentious. And what's a good definition for pretentious? Okay. This is not poetry, guys. Academic writing is not poetry. Just as simple. It's not a literary work. Perpetuate, endeavor, providing funds, exigency, enhance contributions. Come on. Yes, if you're writing poetry, awesome. A lot of imagery. But come on, you're not being direct. Citizens cannot continue to fund social security for the elderly unless we raise taxes. That's it. In just a few words and one statement. Okay. Ambiguous references. Audrey, can you help me with this one?
Ambiguous reference. Informal writing students should avoid the phrase in many ways, as well as it is, and there are constructions. If it isn't fair that administrators make all decisions that affect students in many ways. School administrators make all police decisions which can impact students' schedules and finance. There are lots of opportunities for good students, opportunities in fields such as medicine, high tech, and education abound for intelligent, hardworking college graduates.
College graduates, okay. Yes, we need to be precise on how we cite our references. We're not giving an opinion, guys. We need to be very objective, not subjective. And mainly when we have an academic work to submit, that's what it is. Always concentrating the objectiveness of your information. Whenever you start thinking about giving your opinion, in particular in first or second person, be careful. You always go back to the rules and not to deviate from what an academic work is or stands for, okay? And so we have discussed some of the do's and don'ts for academic writing. Before we continue and we go into some exercises for passive and active voice, do you have any questions? Any questions in formal academic writing, guys? No? Okay. So let's see. Let's go into active and passive voice. Okay. So we have here some explanations. Let's see. Active voice tells a reader what a person or thing is doing. The subject performs the action, has a clear subject plus verb plus object structure. The passive voice tells a reader what is done to someone or something. The object is acted upon by the verb, object plus verb plus a preposition plus subject structure. Okay, so I know there's a lot of words. We have some formulas. Let's get to it. Example, the company built the building. Okay, so this is active. We have the subject, company. We have the verb. And we have an object, building. As a passive voice, the building was built by the company. We have an object, we have the verb. Okay. We have a preposition. And we have a subject. And check it out, was built. That's why it's called passive. Was built. It's a combination. We have the verb be in the past combined with a verb in the simple past. Up to here, do you have any questions, guys? No? Okay. So let's see. Ryder, can you help me with some reading here?
Active voice conveys a strong, clear tone which can be preferred by professors. Active voice is used to take action in a sentence.
Thank you, Ryder. So yes, it's straightforward. It's active. Passive. Camila?
Passive voice is subtler than active voice. Passive voice is helpful when focusing on the object in the sentence rather than the subject.
That's correct. That's why in this case we use was built, correct? Any questions, guys, before we go into the examples? Okay, so here we have a practice. Choose the correct answer, active or passive. Is 8 examples. I give you 3 minutes to select your best choice. Let me know when you finish. I'll give you 2-3 minutes and then we practice, okay? finished, guys, or you need more time?
I finished, teacher.
Okay, everyone else?
I also finished, teacher.
Okay, let's do this together. So let's see. Number one, Joe, can you help me read the first example and select active or passive?
My mom read the novel in one day is active.
Yes, active. Number two, Mauricio.
I will clean the house every Sunday. Active.
Okay. Three, Audrey.
Safety will be watched by the staff every year. Passive.
That's correct. Writer.
Larry is donating money to the food bank. Active.
Okay, that's correct. Camila.
Baby kangaroos are carried in their mother's pouch. Passive.
Kangaroos, baby kangaroos. Passive.
Baby kangaroos.
Okay. Six. Joanne.
The presentation was created by my friend is passive.
Okay. Seven, Audrey.
We used to be driving to school when we are younger. Active.
Oof. Seven is passive, okay?
Not passive.
Eight. Camila.
We are going to go shopping downtown. Active.
Correct. Okay. Any questions about this exercise, guys? Everything clear about active and passive? Do you feel that we need more information? No? Okay. So if we don't need more info, let's go into the next part. So we discuss now active and passive voice. Let's see. Let's talk about phrases in Latin that we use in English. And I'm pretty sure you are curious about this in particular, okay? There are many phrases and words in Latin that we use in our everyday vocabulary and we do not know. And we're going to discuss just a few of them and see if perhaps we're familiar with them. We have a quote here, not a quote. Well, yes, it's a quote and it's a question. Quis custodiet ipsos custodes? Hey guys, come on. I don't know Latin, but I'll try my best. But I can tell you that this is the same meaning for who will watch the watchers. Okay, I heard this before. I knew I had a clue what it was about, but we're gonna find some cool words here, okay? But we have an explanation here before we continue. Let's see, writer, can you help me with the intro?
There are quite a few Latin words and phrases that appear in English, usually in written English, but sometimes in spoken English too. Some of them are used more in certain areas such as law, medicine, business, etc. Generally, you do not need to learn and use many Latin phrases, but it could help you to recognize them when you see them. Here are some of the most common. Note that many Latin phrases are used in other, mainly European languages. So if you speak one of those languages, you may be familiar with many, if not all, of the Latin phrases on this page.
Okay, good. So let's see. Let's start with some of them. So we have here 3 columns: Latin, the meaning, and an example, or some comments. So ad hoc, form or done for a particular purpose only. An ad hoc committee was set up to oversee the matter. Okay. Ad nauseam, repeating or continuing to the point of boredom. The apparent risk of secondary smoking have been debated ad nauseam. Okay, so it's too repetitive that is boring. Okay, let's see. And that's some more here. Bona fide, genuine, real. Only bona fide members of the club may use the clubhouse. Okay, this is mean. But let's do some reading here. Okay, Audrey, can you read the next one? Audrey, can you hear me?
Teacher,
Yes, can you read the next example?
let the buyer beware. The principle that the buyer is responsible for checking the quality and suitability of goods before a purchase is made.
Okay. The next one. Joanna?
Cirque, no sé. Around approximately, the house was built circa 1917.
Okay. And this one is very, very common, right? Circa. Let's try the other one. Camila?
Coitus interruptus. Interrupt Congress avoiding sexual intercourse prior to ejaculation. Coitus interruptus is the only form of birth control that some religions allow.
Okay. Interruptus. Next one. Let's see. Mm, writer?
Compos mentis.
In control of the mind?
Please call me back later when I'm compos mentis.
Okay, nice. Oh, the other one, yes, of course, de facto. In fact, in reality, although the emperor was the head of state, the de facto ruler of Japan was the shogun. Okay, de facto. Oh, the next one, ergo. I have listened to this word so many times in different shows, different debates, and it's simply a transition, guys. Therefore, okay. And the next one, erratum, erratum, error, mistake. List of errors from a previous publication are often marked errata, the plural meaning errors. And we have used this, correct? Errata. And sometimes we complement that, for example, in Spanish, fe de errata. Okay, let's continue. Oh, of course. Okay, Mauricio?
Etc., etc., and the rest, and so on and more. We urgently need to buy medical equipment, drugs, etc.
Okay, et cetera, etc. All right, so now we know what it means. Thank you, Mauricio. The next one, Camila.
Ex gratia. From kindness or grace without kindness or grace without recognizing any liability or legal obligation. They received an undisclosed ex gratia payment.
Okay, ex gratia. Let's go to the next one, Audrey.
Ex gratia, teacher.
No, ex libris.
Ex libris. From the books from the library, in the front of a book, ex libris John Brown.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Joanna. Habeas corpus.
Habeas corpus, a court order instructing that a person under arrest be brought before a judge. Let we have a body. The right of habeas corpus has long been regarded as an important safeguard of individual liberty.
Okay. This one, I listened to it in Scent of a Woman. That was a movie that has been quite there for a long time with Al Pacino, I believe. Writer, can you help us with this explanation?
In loco parentis. In the place of a parent, teachers sometimes have to act in loco parentis.
Okay. In situ. In its original place, the paintings have been taken to the museum, but the statues have been left in situ. Camila?
in vitro, in biology taking place outside a living organisms. For example, in a test tube, in vitro fertilization.
Yes. And you know, at the beginning, when I heard vitro, I believe it was referring to video, you know, glass. But in reality, it's not that. It's telling us that is outside its environment. That's what it means, in vitro. Okay. Audrey?
Per teacher
Inter alia.
for per per each this petrol station charged $5,000 per gallon.
Okay. Oh, let's see. Mauricio.
per per annum for each year, and the population is increasing by about 2% per annum.
Okay. And we have per for each. This petrol station charges $5 per gallon. And this one is very common, right? Per annum, whenever we do perhaps an Excel exercise showing some numbers, money per capita for each person per capita. The country's annual income is 5,000 per capita per person. Okay. Oh, this one, awesome. Writer?
Per se, in itself, themselves, intrinsically. These facts per se are not important.
Okay. Yes. Camila?
Post-mortem, examination of a body after death, autopsy. The post-mortem revealed that she had been murdered.
Okay. So it's an examination after death. Now, in project management, well, at the end of a project, we do what we call the post-mortem, and we just show all the recovery money or the goals obtained after the project was completed. So you finish the project, now you're getting results, and that's what we call post-mortem. Okay. Something similar, but I guess post-mortem has different definitions. Mauricio.
Pro rata, proportionally, the car rental charge is $50 per day and then pro rata for part of a day.
Okay, good. Oh, yes. This is something my professor in master's degree would tell us. Quid pro quo, a favor or advantage given or expected in return for something. Similar to tit for the tat, give and take, and you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Okay. And let's go for the next one. Writer?
About, concerning, regarding, unpaid invoice.
Okay. I spoke to the manager, your salary increase. Okay. Camila?
Sine qua non, essential condition, thing that is absolutely necessary, without which not. Words and a sine qua non of spoken language.
Okay, status quo, existing state of affairs. Monarchies naturally wish to maintain the status quo. Just keep the same things. Audrey?
Terra firma, dry land, the ground as opposed to the ARC. Shakatlo and his men set foot on terra firma after 3 weeks at sea.
Okay. Joanna?
Verbatim in exactly the same words. I had to memorize the text verbatim.
Okay. Mauricio?
Versus, versus, vs, against. What are the benefits of organic versus inorganic foods? In the case of Rush versus Gore, the judge decides.
Okay. And vice versa, the other way around. My telephone serves me, not vice versa. Okay. Camila?
Vice versa. The other way around, my telephone serves me and not vice versa.
Okay. Good. Okay. And we finished some short expressions, some Latin sayings and quotations. For example, carpe diem, seize the day. And this is an exclamation. Okay, this is an exclamation arguing someone to make the most of the present time and not worry about the future. Carpe diem, seize the day. Okay. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. And it says here, French philosopher Descartes' famous formula of 1641 attempted to prove his own existence. Okay. Dulce et decorum est pro patria mori. It is a sweet and glorious thing to die for one's country. Okay, and it gives us where they got this from. Festilente, hurry slowly. Festina lente, I'm sorry, festina lente. Hurry slowly. And it's oxymoron. So what's an oxymoron? It's a phrase that is composed of two opposing words. Hurry slowly. Okay, that's an oxymoron, guys. And we have some more examples here. In vino veritas. In wine truth, meaning that a drunk man reveals the truth about himself. Okay. Nil desperandum, do not despair. Per ardua ad astra, struggle through struggle to the stars. Okay. Quis custodiet ipsos custodes, who shall guard the guards. Okay, this is the beginning where I show you the text. Quo erat demonstrandum, which was to be demonstrated. Tempus fugit, time flies. Okay. Veni vidi vici, I came, I saw, I conquered. Famous from Julius Caesar. Okay. And just to close, we have some common Latin abbreviations. AD, Anno Domini, in the year of the Lord. Ad inf, ad infin, ad infinitum, to infinity. AM, ante meridium, before midday. Okay. BA, baccalaureus artium, Bachelor of Arts. BD, baccalaureus divinitatis, Bachelor of Divinity. And all of these are titles from school, actually. Now that I'm looking at them. Okay. Up to here. All of these are titles of education. We have medicine, music, philosophy, science, okay, law, divinitatis, we said divinity, legum. All of these are titles of professional careers, okay? And we have B, philosophia, philosophy. We have C, circa, about, compare, DD, Doctor of Divinity, and all of these are titles, just to say some, okay? I know there's a lot of information, but this is just an example to show you that we have seen many words that come from Latin, even though the Latin language is obsolete, not extinct, but it's obsolete. No one speaks that. Perhaps in some places like the Vatican or some religious, I don't know, I would say churches, they still do, or they practice Latin, but it's not a language that is required at this moment. However, we can find many of these words in our language. And in some particular fields like medicine, philosophy, arts, I don't know, many of them. Any questions about this information, guys? Did you find any words that you did not know the meaning and now you know?
A lot of them.
Yes, right? But I guess we answer a lot of questions, right? I'll give you these files so you can keep it just as a reference. Okay. And now, before we continue, we're going to do an exercise. But guys, I need to stop at this moment and reconnect again because I need to have the license for the survey. So I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm going to reconnect so that I can have access to the cloud and also to the surveys, okay? So I'm gonna end the call and call again. Give me just a second, okay?